John Saunders, one of the familiar on-air faces on ESPN for nearly 30 years, has died. Saunders covered college football, basketball, and the NHL for the network, in addition to hosting SportsCenter and most recently, the Sports Reporters. He was born in Canada. Saunders was an all-star defensive man in junior hockey leagues of Montreal before becoming one of the most prominent broadcasters of his time. He was also a founding board member of the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research, named for his longtime college basketball partner. Saunders was 61. Stephen A., obviously we just heard this news, and I know clearly you're very emotional and close to him. I want to say I'm sorry, and how will you remember John?
I can't, he was a big brother. He's a father figure. I'm sitting here in shock. We just got the news. Thank you. We just got the news. He went to the NABJ last week. I couldn't make it because we were on the road for First Take. I was supposed to see him. We gonna hook up for dinner in a couple of weeks. He had health issues from years ago. Had a bad accident as well, bad fall. He was recuperating throughout the years. Health ebbed and flowed. But somehow, some way, he always had the strength to give guys like myself the level of guidance, that big brother that we all needed. We talk a lot about great individuals that have worked at this company, especially my man Stuart Scott, who I still miss to this day. But I always called John Saunders the Godfather because he was one of the originals. When you think about ESPN, so many times we think about Chris Berman and we think about Dick Vitale as well as we should. Bob Lee, I call individuals like that the institution. Tom Jackson as well. But John Saunders was one of those guys. We worked together on NBA Countdown years ago. We always kept in touch. He always was a mentor and an advisor. He meant so much to me. I'm so incredibly sorry for his family right now and his loved ones. I really don't know what to say. I'm not used to being in this position. Usually you have some time to reflect and things of that nature. I just got the news a couple minutes ago. I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I know how much he loved the Sports Reporters, being a part of that show. I know how much he loved being a part of the V Foundation in its fight against cancer. I know how much he loved working for this network, this company, Walt Disney, ABC. I don't think anybody truly realizes what we lost today. He was a phenomenal, phenomenal man. He was a father figure. He was a big brother. He was a mentor. He was an advisor. He was somebody that had been in this business for 40 years. He adamantly believed in being a pioneer and paving the way for individuals like myself and so many others, keeping this company's eyes on the prize as it pertained to giving African Americans opportunities in this business and at this company. Stuart Scott might not be here if it were not for John Saunders. Might not have been here had it not been for John Saunders. It's just a devastating loss, and I'm going to miss my brother. I'm going to miss him a lot.
He's such a class act, and he's a staple. And I know, like you, Max, I started at ESPN right out of college at 22. And one of the first shows I ever worked on was College Football Live. And John Saunders was the guy. He was hosting it. And, you know, you're a nervous wreck. You're starting out. And obviously, he's one of the top talent, the big shot. And just in terms of how he ingratiated me, welcomed me, giving me feedback, he didn't need to do that type of thing, and just showing his character. And then when I left here and went to CBS in New York, I worked with his daughter, Aaliyah. And I just know the relationship, how much he adored his daughters and how much Aaliyah and his sister absolutely adored him. My heart is breaking for them and, you know, for the entire family. And she has a very bright future also in this industry. And, of course, just, yeah, class act in my own personal interactions with him is he went out of his way for no, you know, when he wasn't getting anything out of it, and those kind of people that really make the difference for us along the way. And it breaks my heart to Stephen A. see you so upset as well, but we lost a legend. We lost a great one in the media industry.
I didn't have that kind of interaction or relationship with him, just in passing through the years. He's the kind of guy that makes this a great place to work. A lot of good people here, and he was one of them. I know you got emotional as soon as it happened, and Stephen A. has kind of been a mess, over, you know, and been holding it together on the air in the last segment. And that's a tribute, I think, to the kind of man he... It's always strange to refer to someone in the past tense when they just passed, but the kind of man he was, that he has this kind of an emotional impact on, and left that kind of impression on the people with whom he was close. And by the way, a terrific broadcaster.
Of course,
which, you know,
one of the great ones on and off the air.
Yeah.
He could do anything.
No, everything.
He could do anything.
Any sport.
Everything.
Yep.
He loved hockey. You know, he was a proud Canadian.
Yes.
You know, always tried to get me to talk about hockey. Every chance he got, you know, actually I told him there's no chance in hell I can't pull it off. But he was just that guy, and we lost somebody special.
We did, a great one. And I'm sorry, Stephen A. John Skipper, president of ESPN, co-chairman of Disney Media Networks, had a statement. I'll share that with you. John was an extraordinary talent, and his friendly, informative style has been a warm welcome to sports fans for decades. His wide range of accomplishments across numerous sports and championship events is among the most impressive this industry has ever seen. More importantly, John was a beloved and devoted family man who cared deeply about people and causes, as evidenced by his long-standing efforts as a passionate board member for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. He was one of the most significant and influential members of the ESPN family as a colleague and mentor, and he will be sorely missed. Our thoughts are with his loved ones at this extremely difficult time. John Saunders has passed at the age of 61. So, even though the Red Sox fans clearly wanted A-Rod, Yankees manager Joe Girardi announced that he won't start until Thursday against the Red Sox, when Boston is scheduled to start Stephen Wright.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I mean, when I heard him say that I can actually play in all 4 games, I was really excited to get to my bats, and I don't know what happened. So I guess I play on Thursday.
Rodriguez will play his final game for the Yankees on Friday when they host the Rays. Stephen A., does A-Rod have a leg to stand on in terms of his complaints?
He actually does. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he actually does.
Who are you and what have you done with Stephen A?
Yeah.
He actually does. Here's the deal. I believe that A-Rod is a serial pathological liar. I think that he's a 2-time cheat that we know of. I think his suing the Yankees, Major League Baseball, the Players Association, team doctors, etc., is as egregious as it gets. I think he warrants no one's sympathy per se in that regard. I think the fact that he's still allowed to play in Major League Baseball and collect a check and go out with some semblance of dignity should be more than enough. That was before the weekend. Over the weekend, it was the Yankees who elected to have a press conference. It was the Yankees who sit up there with their crocodile tears. It was the Yankees, whether it's Brian Cashman, the general manager, or Hal Steinbrenner, the son of former great owner George Steinbrenner, God rest his soul, who now owns the Yankees, talking about all the contributions he has made to the franchise. It was folks like that who were willing to answer questions about Monument Park. It was manager Joe Girardi, who specifically teared up himself and talked about what A-Rod meant to the team, and of course he'll be playing until Friday, etc., etc. I'm just big on something, and maybe I'm old school. Keep your word. Let me tell you something. The hardest thing for anybody to get from me is a promise, because when I make it, I keep it. It's just that simple to me. Or I exhaust myself trying to honor my word. I understand that the Yankees still have an outside shot at the wild card spot, but you traded Adolis Chapman, or Aroldis Chapman. You've traded Carlos Beltran.
Andrew Miller.
You've traded Andrew Miller. You've traded these guys. You clearly have gone the route of a youth movement. It's not to say that you're trying to throw games. Clearly you're going to try to win because you're out there. But that's not the priority as much as it is getting these guys playing time. If you were going to do this to A-Rod, why the hell did you allow him to end it Friday? Why didn't you sit up there and say the very next game is your last and do it that way? You agreed to keep him around. You lauded and praised him. You talked about what he means to this franchise. Okay, you don't get, as far as I'm concerned, if you're Joe Girardi, who I respect profoundly, and I'm so happy and proud that he's the manager of the Yankees, but I don't believe you should get to turn around and say, I got caught up in the emotions, essentially acknowledging that you lied, because I don't believe that Joe Girardi lied, okay? I want to believe that he was telling the truth. Honor it. You're a damn good manager, a great manager as far as I'm concerned. Think about life post A-Rod past Friday. But in the last games against the Boston Red Sox, with the fans there having honored Mariano Rivera, having honored Derek Jeter, if they want to sit out there and they want to see A-Rod for the last few days, they deserve that, and you deserve to give him that, because those were the words you gave when he announced that he was stepping away.
If Girardi had sat there and said, I solemnly promise, but he made the remark. He has the right to change his mind as the manager of the team. Who knows if he's being pressured in some other way, if they have some promotional ideas about Fenway and Yankee Stadium the last 2 days, you build it up. The problem with A-Rod right now is he stinks. He can't hit at all. He strikes out every at-bat. He can't run. He can't play defense. What can he do? He's not a baseball player anymore. I mean, that's why they're forcing his retirement.
Then take the uniform off and send him home.
Well, I mean, that's what they're doing, but they're giving him a goodbye at Fenway and a goodbye in the Bronx. They're just, it's ceremonial. And look, everyone smells on A-Rod what you smell on him that you don't like. He's not Jeter. He's not Rivera. The Red Sox fans aren't going to honor him in that kind of way. Neither will Yankees fans. And I've heard a conspiracy theory that, like, well, the real reason the Yankees aren't doing this is he's sitting on 696 home runs. If he hits his 700th home run, he gets a bonus in his contract. No. A-Rod has $6 million bonuses that kick in whenever he ties someone on the home run list. So he got a bonus for 660 when he tied Willie Mays. Next one up is Babe Ruth, 714. He's not going to get to 714 in a couple more days. He might not get to 697, although the way A-Rod has his flair for drama, he might hit 2 home runs in each of his last 2 games. Who knows? I mean, he's that kind of, he has that kind of knack for stealing headlines and stuff. But it's not about the bonuses, because he's never going to get to 714. It's about the Yankees, I think, taking a more sober view of the situation and say, we're going to play him an extra 2 or 3 games. Why? So he can strike out every single time. He's not a player anymore. That's why he's not playing.
He's not a player anymore, to get rid of him. You shouldn't have him up at a press conference saying goodbyes with his fake self, sitting up there taking off his baseball cap and taking off his glasses and looking up, you know, and crying out. I mean, give me a break. If you can withstand that, you can withstand A-Rod in a final at-bat.
That's what, Stephen A., that's what they're doing.
But what I'm saying to you,
they're letting him play in Fenway 1 game.
But what I'm saying to you is, they said he can play up until Friday. Let the man come up for at least 1 at bat. You're talking about the 9th, and then the fans in Boston are chanting his name. They want to see him. What's wrong with that? Now, Girardi will sit there and talk about, you're just trying to win. You're just trying to win. Oh, you're so focused and you're so dogged about that. But that's not what you said in the press conference. And that's what I'm saying. To me, that's what matters. I don't think that A-Rod deserves to play per se based on his performance, certainly not based on his history, combined with this year's performance with his 204 batting average self. But if you said you were going to play him, play him.
Listen, if they're losing by 8 runs at Fenway and it's the 6th inning and maybe he can get A-Rod in that bat, I don't know that that's ruled out, unless he's not traveling with the team, I mean, you know, something like that. But from a competitive point of view, you're right. Look, they've given up on this season. It was wise. They were a 500-ish team.
Stop trying to pretend like you haven't.
What's that?
Meaning giving up on the season.
But they are doing this. They are trying to remain in a competitive environment, and they're not so far out of the race that they couldn't conceivably snatch a wild card if certain things go their way. They gave away 2/3 of their bullpen. They still have Dellin Betances, who's amazing. You know, it's possible, although very unlikely, that they can stay in the hunt. So why not pursue that while you've already traded some veterans for some nice young talent? And in the meantime, A-Rod's only going to hurt your cause. But because you're right, it's not It's not as though they're going for the pennant right now. They're giving them an extra game or two to say goodbye.
These words would have never come out of my mouth if it wasn't for that damn press conference on Sunday. But the fact that they had that press conference on Sunday and they said what they said, follow through. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying, keep your word.
Here's the question.
Keep your word.
Here's the question to you. Do you think this is coming from Girardi, or is it coming from higher up in the Yankees organization?
I think it's a combination of both. I think a legitimate argument could be made that the Yankees don't mind sticking it to him. But again, you know what? Then don't do away with the press conference. Just stop it. Stop the charade. Stop trying to sell Yankee fans on something that's non-existent. Don't be phony. You're the Yankees.
Here's the next question. If all these games were at Yankee Stadium and the Yankees could cash out by playing A-Rod, you think they'd play him? Because I do. They're on the road. They only got that one game at Yankee Stadium coming up, so they're going to play him there. They're going to throw the Red Sox a bone, play him in that game. If they were all at Yankee Stadium, maybe they play him.
We'll find out.
Yep, and we will leave it there. First Take just getting started. A lot more hot debates, including Josh Norman, the TV star. He's excited about his part-time gig, but should the Redskins have a problem with it? We'll tell you next.